Hey folks, Phil from the future here. I just wanted to say that today's brew doesn't go well, and not every brew will. And in fact, most of them won't. So if you came here going like, "Yeah, Shigeki Control, I'm super hyped about this," like maybe temper your expectations a little bit. I don't think the deck was strong enough, and I don't think I played perfectly either, since I'm unfamiliar with Pioneer. I just wanted to give you like this heads up ahead of time. Um, Games were rough. Hello, folks. Phil Gallagher of ThrabenU here for another Pioneer video. Today, courtesy of Alex Fiera, we are going to be playing a Shigeki control list, um, which I guess is kind of deceptive because there's only two of these here, but I guess let's just get into it. So, this is a 1/3 Snake Druid. Don't so much worry about the first part. We can play this and then return it to reveal the top 4 cards of our library and put a land from among them onto the battlefield tapped. That's not really what we're hoping to do here. We're hoping to channel this card, discarding it to return a bunch of non-legendary cards from our graveyard to our hand. And then we're maybe hoping that one of those cards is a Bala Ged Recovery, which then can recur the Shigeki, which then can recur all the spells that you cast. Get the idea here? So we are essentially a black-green, aka Golgari, mid-range deck, I suppose. Like, we definitely have a lot of controlling elements, but, like, ultimately, like, we're playing with Scavenging Oozes and Elder Gargaroths, and I feel kind of like we are definitely in that mid-rangey camp. Supporting this, we have a bunch of removal in the form of Abrupt Decay and Assassin's Trophy, as well as Blood Chief's Thirst a little bit lower on the curve. And we do have like some sweepers, some card advantage outside of the Shigeki, as well as Sorin the Mirthless as a Planeswalker. I actually just played with this card in Legacy. It wasn't bad. So, um, this is a deck that, or sorry, this is a league rather that I'm going to play in the tournament practice room, and there's 2 reasons for that. Number 1, I think this deck is going to need some adjustments. I have not played enough Pioneer to adjust deck lists before playing them ahead of time with confidence. But I think especially in terms of the mana base, I don't really know if I can afford some colorless lands like this, and this is a very high activation cost as well. This is like 5 plus tapping this card itself. That's a lot to ask for. And I know that we do want to drag the game on to like Elder Gargaroth levels of mana, but I'm super skeptical on that. I'm also unsure if this deck can actually get away with playing cards like Blooming Marsh and Hive of the Eye Tyrant that come into play tapped, because I do have important 4 and 5 drops that I want to cast on curve in a good majority of games, especially in the post sideboard games where like I want to be casting this thing and I very much don't want to miss that land drop. The other reason that I want to play this in the tournament practice room is I'm gonna level with you. I don't know that this is a Pioneer deck. And I don't say that with any malice, but like right now, when I think Pioneer, I think these like mono green Storm the Festival deck lists that just have huge explosive power and can literally go infinite. And I'm thinking about these blue red decks with like the prowess threats or Arclight Phoenix, and those just feel a tier or 2 above what I'm looking at here, at least in my opinion, just kind of glancing at this. And so if I play this against some lower power decks, I think the league experience will probably be better. Not gonna lie. Plus I'm a little inexperienced myself, like, let's be real here. With that said, I think I'm just going to go ahead and jump directly into the league and kind of see how the deck feels. I expect that I will make some minor changes to the deck throughout. If you're new here, please consider subscribing if you like what you see. And if you're a regular, please throw me a like before this video begins. It's one of the easiest ways to support my content for free. Let's battle. Okay, I have a very reasonable mix of lands and spells. I don't necessarily do anything in the early game here, which may be a problem if I am playing against something that kind of comes out of the gates quickly, which is unfortunately what we are going to see here. But hopefully I can kind of come out of this a little bit later. We're probably playing against the mono green Storm the Festival deck. And yeah. By the way, I'm just going to mention this. It's like really hot at my apartment today. So I am recording with my office door open. My girlfriend's not here or anything, so it's probably not going to be an issue in terms of background noise or things like that. But if you hear the air conditioner or anything, like, sorry, not sorry. As a bajillion D loyalty. Do I want to play this out as a ramp spell, potentially? Yeah, I can return it later. So, like, let's do that. Just so I have something that can give this a little love tap. Like, not a happy amount of, power, but it's what I've got to work with. I've got Assassin's Trophies and stuff in here. We untapping? Yeah, we're untapping. 4. There's a Planeswalker. Yeah. Oh, that is just their land drop that they're hitting via Karn. That's not too bad. The bad part is that, like, my opponent has 2 Planeswalkers in play. Alright. So I do this. I can Shigeki. Or I can read the bones. I think I want to read the bones so that I can also attack. No. I am in the mood. Yikes. Or rather, I guess, I am in the market for Assassin's Trophy specifically, I guess, to deal with these Planeswalkers. I think they just overrun me. I put them in the situation where if Karn minuses, my opponent loses the Karn, which is nice. Was that a God Pharaoh statue? Okay, that's horrifying. I don't really know that I beat that. So there's the untap. There's 5. Okay. The God Pharaoh statue is not imminently coming down. Probably happens next turn. And in a little while. It's a land, right? Yeah. So if there's a Storm, the Festival in the graveyard, opponent has Nykthos now. And this... Basically, So this can enter untapped. I'm not pleased with where I'm at. I just feel like my opponent's deck is both faster and more powerful than mine. We'll blow up the odds. I'll crash in for 1 on the Planeswalker. It's still around. And, like, this is looming. I guess I can ooze it away, actually. I don't know, I might have to, like, risk not playing ooze and just, like, slam the card that spirals. Also, real talk, like, does that mana base actually support this card? The answer is fucking no, right? Right? So you're just hoping to gamble with Storm the Festival? Interesting. Okay, I don't know about that. Okay, there's an elf. Okay, another permanent is coming. Or maybe spell. Opponent's got 5 mana. Okay. So very slowly, I could get back an Extinction Event. Okay. I guess a removal spell would be cool. Okay. There's a lot of green pips in a way that makes me very nervous. I can play Scoos and activate it 2 or 3 times. Oh, okay. That's also a problem. I've got a Field of Ruin, so what I can do. I could channel this to try to kill both of these next turn. I think I need to take this card out of the graveyard, or I'm super dead. Yeah. I'm also trying to figure out if I want to shock for Grown Tomb. I think I do. I guess I could have played the backside of this, actually. Alright, so I tap my 1 non-green source here. Leaves me with 3 activations. Yeah, I should have played the backside of this. Alright. Let's take out the Storm the Festival now. And then pass with some mana available, unfortunately. I just feel so slow compared to what my opponent is doing here. Like, I have so many cards in hand, and I just can't deploy them, and I can't use the namesake card of the deck because I just, like, have other more important, air quotes, things to do with my mana. F. Absolute F. That's not great for me. So if my opponent activates Nykthos, these lands, so they'll have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana available. 8 is not 10. So I can let this priority pass go. Okay, can I let this priority pass go? Nykthos activates for 3, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have not played a land yet, though. I probably need to go ahead and eat here. It was unfortunate because I was trying not to eat because I wanted to return this to Duke all the odd stuff. But that's not happening. Oh, fuck. I forgot about the Nykthos untap. This is so much fucking mana. Okay, if that's all that's happening, like, we're good. Nykthos brings him up to 15 mana. We're in Emrakul territory. Okay. How bad are the Karn targets in this format? I imagine you don't have Mycosynth. The Chain Veil. I don't actually know what this card does. Beginning of your end step, if you didn't activate a loyalty ability of a planeswalker this turn, you lose 2 life for each planeswalker you control. Oh gosh, okay. Cool. I imagine this is going infinite, or very close to it. So that's 16 mana. Chain Veil happens, which allows my opponent to activate all these things one more time. Yeah, I just feel wholly outclassed here. All right, so there's an untap on the Nykthos again. Then Karn minuses and finds something else fun. I think at some point there's an infinite with a like flip card. Yeah. So this loops Kioras and Karns now, I believe. Oh shit, I should have activated Ooze. I was thinking through the combo. I think with one of those returning anyway, like, it's just bad news for me. Alright. Kiora happens. Gets a Nykthos on tap. Alright, there's the untap. New Karn. Karn then tutors up this whole persistent cauldron thing again. Yeah, and this exile, so this never goes to graveyard. Okay, yeah, so this is an infinite. If I don't disrupt it, I'll go ahead and exile the Karn here. And then I F6. Like, my opponent can play a new Kiora and get an untap. I don't think that goes anywhere. Oh, is there a Storm the Festival in the graveyard that I missed? Oh, hold on. Is this... Oh. Okay. Well, that's pretty gross. So, my opponent... Am I actually dead? I guess my opponent... How did they cast that? Like, legit, how did that just happen? I missed something there. Oh, whatever. I'm gonna concede. Like, this game is lost. Yeah, I missed something with how that's castable. Like, I don't think there were 3 Nykthos activations that I miss. Alright, whatever. What do I have here? I have some things that can mess around with the graveyard to prevent those loops. What does Kalatos exile? It exiles the things from play. All creatures and planeswalkers mana value 3 or less from the battlefield and from graveyards. That's not bad. I don't really know how to sideboard here. Let's figure it out. I just feel like my opponent's deck is just like an order of magnitude faster than mine in a way that I will not adjust to even if I sideboard. Like, this is so slow and bad at pressuring planeswalkers. Like, I think I cut the namesake card here for something that can interact with the Kioras. And, I don't know, maybe I don't have time to cast a bunch of Read the Bones? Question mark, question mark, question mark. I really don't know. Like, are the cages powerful enough specifically to stop the backside of the festival card? Unsure. I don't have reps or format experience here to know. Like, I know what I don't know, but I don't know how to pilot this deck more optimally. I will keep this hand. I've got something for an early elf or mana dork. Then I've got something for a planeswalker and a finisher. This is a better hand, but again, I just feel woefully behind in comparison to the speed at which my opponent's deck can kind of explode out. We'll see, though. Hopefully I can do something cool. All right, this is a sweeper. I'm not ready for that yet. Is this untapped this turn? Yeah. All right. So we're chilling. And I can potentially blow up a planeswalker that my opponent plays 2 turns from now. There it is. I can also just nuke this thing now with Assassin's Trophy and not mess around with it. Like, I'm not sure how much I want to greed that. Because I can die. Feels like greeding it is good. Giving my opponent a land for this is kind of a huge downside. Alright, greed it is. Finding an old growth troll, sure. Alright. Well, I have really cool things for after this board wipe. Feel confident about that. Let's see if I randomly die for not killing Kiora. 3 mana, definitely good with that. Like, you can draw your card. I am looking to play a hell of a haymaker here. Yep, there's the untap. Gonna get saucy. Wanna get in the red zone? Yeah. Alright. I will eat this damage. And we'll call it a turn and then slam this card. Ooh, that's not bad either, but this exile effect is so strong here. 5 mana, let's go. There's a 3-for-1, and the troll doesn't die. I assume that if I play Elder Gargaroth followed by Elder Gargaroth, my opponent just dies. That's my hope anyway. Alright, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Just, like, is noticeably larger than my opponent's creatures, at least for right now. Yeah, your elf is totally fine. Alright. Good stuff. I don't even know that I needed to Thoughtseize my opponent here. I just want a beast. I want to draw a card. I'm crashing in regardless. I think I want a beast. Like, I'm trying to currently reduce my opponent's life total to 0. Like, the beast is not bad, and it makes this spiral a little bit harder. If I draw a card and hit an untapped land, I can potentially Thoughtseize and do this. Iora is not a problem. I might just destroy their old growth troll with Assassin's Trophy, and then just get in there with all of these creatures and just try to end the game. Yeah, that sounds good. I guess let's start here and take out this elf. Opponent didn't float mana, fantastic. So then we'll go 1, 2, take out the troll. And then this is just 6, 12, 15 damage. Just totally fine by me. Attack you. Yep, okay. Cool. So that sideboard card was good. Let's just draw that again. Yeah, I mean, this card is what I want to do. Doing the thing that I just did is a little harder on the draw, unfortunately. Let's call this good, though. Alright. I don't have the big scary card, but Extinction Event is pretty good. I think I'll just be happy enough with that. Oh, it's the good card. Yeah. Yeah, this is fine. Let's get this temporarily tapped land out of play, although I could just play another land as well. It doesn't really matter because I have enough lands to just make that enter untapped later. Eora is here. Oh. There is another elf. Okay, things could get scary next turn, and I'm a little too far away from Extinction Event for that to actually be good here. So I guess we're kind of at the mercy of my opponent's deck here for, like, how scary of a thing they have top decked. Okay, that's fine. That's 4 mana from Nykthos. And we'll see a Kiora untap on it. Up to 6 mana, 7 mana with Elvish Mystic. Okay. Cool. Definitely afraid here. Isn't quite like in Legacy, though, where just like a liquid metal coating happens and the game ends immediately, so that's nice. God Pharaoh statue. That +2? That's +2. Oh, but opponent has 2 cards in hand? Absolutely get wrecked. Yeah, this is totally fine. Yeah, opponent maybe messed up by getting that card. Another verdict. Sick! Then I can board wipe next turn with Extinction Event and get rid of the elves. Oh, this doesn't actually help me, right? Because that just sends that back to exile. And then my opponent can wish for it again. Well, I got excited about that a little bit too early, I'm not gonna lie to you. Yeah, I figured it out. So much for my discard spell being good. Okay, there's an untap. Yeah, that God Pharaoh statue, I think wins my opponent the game. I can't really do anything from here. I guess I can draw another Assassin's Trophy and get rid of the statue that way. And then, yeah. I have 0 castable cards currently. I do not have the City's Blessing. Karn can also just, like, straight up plus on the God Pharaoh statue. And just, like, whack me for 10 and kill me that way. Okay, I'm gonna concede here. My discard spell was very awkward against that God Pharaoh statue. All right, round 2. I have 2 lands, 3 removal spells that are castable on 2 lands, and a relatively high land count in this deck. Awkward thing is I can't actually play a turn 2 thing with this land. I think I'm just gonna keep this as the cost of doing business. And there's some worlds where I draw an untapped land and can do something on turn 2. I think I actually play this land first because of top decking Thoughtseize specifically. Also, my opponent mulliganed to 5. Okay. We have the wide variety of the Pioneer metagame here. And we'll see if my hand ends up... That's awkward. Alright, no play for this turn. I can Abrupt Decay an Elf in the not-too-distant future. And then work towards these cards, which will be good. But, like... Oh, it was Oath of Nissa earlier, by the way. That was the thing that let my opponent cast the Nicol Bolas. Okay, I've got a Field of Ruin for Nykthos, which is cool. But this is a +1 mana. I think I just need to stop the +1 mana and play a tapped land this turn. Rather than take out the Nykthos immediately. I can activate Field of Ruin next turn pretty safely, unless my opponent does something that makes me want to Extinction Event. I think that's pretty unlikely, though. Okay. Yeah. So this can just be Field of Ruin, blow up Nykthos, grab some mana. My opponent gets 1, 2. And then Abrupt Decay the Elf. I actually think I'm pretty likely to win this game now. I will still need 1 more land drop to deploy my threats, but I don't feel like I am immediately dead to missing a land drop. Okay, nice. That is a good card given circumstances. I would have much rather drawn a land, but, like, it's a 3/3 that gets to attack next turn. That's fine. Opponent definitely feeling their mulligan here, And I did interact with them quite a few times as well, to be fair. Do anything weird? No, this doesn't do anything weird. I will just keep my opponent's graveyard in check, though. Yeah, Sorin's not bad. I'm going to crash in with an Ooze. I can plus to try to hit a land drop. But I think I'm just going to take advantage of the fact that my opponent is missing their land drops and put more pressure on the board. Go, baby vampire nighthawk. Let's go. Okay, there's a land drop. There's a troll. That's a little annoying. How does this trigger work? When it dies, if it was a creature, return it to the battlefield. Okay, so that is a trigger. So I could Assassin's Trophy, eat it with Ooze, and continue to just crash in. Let's plus Sorin first before I do anything. Okay, Swamp. Yes, I'll use that ability. I think I want to take damage here to just keep more green mana up. That's probably unnecessary, actually. Alright, do this. Don't pay the life. Assassin's Trophy here. That trigger happens. Search happens first. Then I eat that card. Effectively fizzling the trigger. And then I've got 6 damage this turn. Nice. And then I've got 6 damage next turn with a decent follow-up of some variety. Okay, Karn is fine. Karn will very much die. Darksteel Citadel, absolutely. Yeah, you can have your land drop. I have no creatures in my own graveyard to eat, so I'll just eat my opponent's Nykthos here. Cool. Boseiju is cool. I have to send the Ooze here. It's my opponent to 7. I can still very much have lethal next turn. Probably play this. Let's plus Sorin. Assassin's Trophy. Hell yeah. Yes, I will use that ability. I can hit my opponent for more immediate damage, but I'm fine with just killing that creature, dealing 2 this turn, playing Gargaroth. Yeah, that should be fine. Arn. You directly. That's a good amount of damage. Oh, I want to play this swamp out first because I want to leave up a green mana in case things get weird. I don't expect them to get weird, but I want to be prepared for the possibility. Okay, what's opponent got? Cavalier is fine. I just Assassin's Trophy that out of the way and have lethal. I think you can have a land drop. Don't really care about that. Yeah. Okay, so I've got a little more experience now with this deck. The Go Blank was awkward against like one of the things that I ran into last time with like wanting to get rid of an artifact that Karn can just wish back. But I still think I want more early interaction. This Shadow's Verdict card was hot. The Shigeki seems totally unnecessary and very slow here. Like, I'm going to get to the point where I cast like one of these or these and win the game, or I'm not. Like, I think once I weather the storm for the first time, or maybe like a time and a half, like weather the storm plus like one more card, like I think I'm good. I don't actually hate Duress. Like, it misses a lot of stuff, but it hits the Planeswalkers, and I care about the Planeswalkers a lot. Now, what if I board out all the copies of Read the Bones and just play a couple more Duress effects? Duress better than Go Blank? No, I think nuking my opponent's graveyard matters. Especially if I board out, like, some Read the Bones. I have some slots in the middle of the deck. Or, sorry, not like slots. I have some time in the mid-game to cast stuff. This has multiple Thoughtseizes and 2 different kinds of sweepers in hand. I like this a lot. I don't think it's quite as good as hands that have some removal for elves, but I think it's going to be okay. Forest. Sure. That's fine. I'm just going to dismiss this since I'm Thoughtseizing anyway. Okay, cool. Totally fine with drawing more, just non-conditional ETB untapped lands here. Okay. What do I care about here? The Cavalier doesn't come back. Am I just letting my opponent keep their mana acceleration here? Yes, I think so. A little awkward that they have the Wolf Hollow Havens instead of something that Verdict cleans up, but I think we're looking okay. It's gonna be a little awkward here that my Thoughtseize kind of takes half a card. I think I just have to deal with that. Field of Ruin is kind of whatever. Take this as a second green, I guess. Miss this. Thoughtseize my opponent here. Rough. You know, I'm gonna take the Cavalier. I don't know, like taking my opponent's creatures is making these cards slightly worse. I think that's one of those things that I just kind of accept. Alright. Seiju has been played out as a land. Then my opponent will play the other one of these. I've got... Ooh. I can Extinction Event away a single elf. 2, 4, 5, 6 mana. Unless you control 2 or more other lands. I do control 2 or more other lands. Do I want to activate Field of Ruin to pull a land out of my deck? No, not really. I guess I just pass with Field of Ruin available. Kind of hope to deal with whatever happens this turn via one of these 2 cards in the not-too-distant future. Here we go. Come on. Come on. Alright, first one just found a basic. There's Sure don't have a priority pass in which I can destroy that before it's activated. Yeah. Yeah. As long as my opponent doesn't find even cost stuff like this, it's not the end of the world for me. Okay, God Pharaoh statue incoming. I'm not immediately dead to some of this stuff, but I feel like I'm at a huge disadvantage for right now. And this doesn't clean up some of the stuff that I otherwise... Like, this doesn't clean up Karn, for example. Alright. We're choosing odd. And let's reset this party. There's unfortunately another 2 more copies of Storm the Festival that I'm gonna have to deal with via flashback. Alright, Karn's just doing some nonsense first. Maze Mind Tome. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay. Yeah, Maze Mind Tome is fine. It's, again, another thing that is not going to get swept up by this, though. And, that card is a kick in the teeth. Like, it's no Mycosynth Lattice, but, like, playing this, like, low mid-range to control deck is, like, that's a pretty damning card. And it's spells, by the way. It's not non-creatures. It's just spells. It's all of them. Okay. How do I feel about this? I'm casting it. Is the God Pharaoh statue worse or is the Karn? Because both are real bad. I think it's going to be the God Pharaoh statue. I just think without access to this card, plus whatever else that I top deck, that I'm just, like, not going to be in a competitive position. By the way, I don't think I've said this video, but, like, I'm north of 3 weeks after COVID at this point, and I am still just, like, coughing and mucusy and gross, and it sucks. Yeah, this is why I waited. I wanted this to happen. So I'll blow this up. I, like, didn't let my opponent know ahead of time that they were going to have an extra mana. Again, though, like, we have long-term problems. 6, 7, 8, 9 in play currently. Sure. These also represent a creature. Slowly, but they do represent a creature. Doesn't quite clear everything out of the graveyard. Does exile this. That is worth something. Alright. Let's do this. At this exact moment, I'm kind of wishing that I had Grafdigger's Cage. But my plan was kind of, like, disrupt, 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 play threat, win in the awkward window. Didn't quite get there, though. Alright, draw your card with Maze Mind Tome. I am not feeling good. Like, we are not anywhere close to the city's blessing for this card. My opponent has a lot of card advantage just chilling. Now this Karn can just minus get something, and then they can play a new one. Kind of want my, like, discard to nuke the graveyard card to get rid of these storms. Drawing something like an Ooze also would have done it. I don't know, maybe with 4 main deck Scavenging Ooze plus the 2 discard spells I brought in. Maybe that's a respectable amount of graveyard hate. Not like this is a Phoenix matchup where it's like play graveyard hate or you die. A Sky Sovereign? Wrong zone. Yeah, that's a Sky Sovereign. And a new Karn. Okay. Gonna get the Cauldron thing. Art of Kirin. Wow. Unexpected. That was an all-star of other formats. In case you're not familiar with this one, you can remove a loyalty counter from a Planeswalker rather than pay its crew cost. Alright. I needed gas as a draw. That is not gas. I will play out a Magic the Gathering card, and I think I'm just dead from my opponent casting a Storm. Like, this is a lot of value, and also potentially can go infinite. Okay, new land drop. There's the 10 mana for the Storm. Cavaliers are gone, luckily. Like, I've taken out all 4 of those. Oh. Oh, no big deal. Alright. My opponent has 3 Planeswalkers in play, and I am effectively hellbent. I am fine conceding at this point. Like, we've lost this one. GG's. Ah, that was not the end of the round. We got another game to play. So, do I want the Grafdigger's Cages? I'm very on the fence about them. Like, I kind of like the go blanks as a way to clear the graveyard while also doing something else. Like, this is kind of good versus Storm, both in the graveyard and on the front side, but they can still get, like, Planeswalkers and stuff with this. This is very specifically creatures in graveyards and libraries can't enter the battlefield. Let's try it. I'm not sure how I'm going to feel about it. I guess if I do that, I get rid of Go Blank. I just, like, need to keep the Scavenging Oozes as something that can, pressure the Planeswalkers. Alright. This hand feels medium to me. I think I keep it. Let's play this tapped past the turn. I've got an Assassin's Trophy for an early Planeswalker. I'm not really doing great versus Mana Dorks specifically, so I'm hoping my opponent opens up on the Nissus thing rather than on, like, an Elf. That did not happen here. They lovey. I will Assassin's Trophy a Kiora if my opponent plays one. I don't want to Assassin's Trophy an Elf here when I have Extinction Event potentially coming up. Okay, that's fine. If my opponent dumps more into play this turn, that's fine. I'm sad that my opponent split them between lands, because if they put them on the same land, I 100% would have just Assassin's Trophied the ever-loving hell out of that land. Do I want to Assassin's Trophy one of these now, just to potentially slow my opponent down 1 turn? No, right? Because that just converts it into a land. Awkward. That's strong. Alright, we're chilling. I may kind of just, like, fail this game because I didn't interact with my opponent in the first 3 turns, though. Like, I don't have great Assassin's Trophy targets, and I wish this was an Abrupt Decay for this game specifically. I guess I could have Assassin's Trophy in response to one of those to slow my opponent down. Doesn't really feel great. I want my opponent to play something that makes one of these 2 cards noticeably better. Nykthos. Please not Karn, specifically. Oh, okay. Well, it was not Karn. That is indeed the good news. I need to Assassin's Trophy this. So this thing occurs. Okay, it is tapping for mana. And it is leaning into my Extinction Event being better. Which is nice. So, goodbye Planeswalker. And then I can get a 2-for-1 with Extinction Event, and then maybe play one of these 2 cards as a Haymaker the following turn. Alright, I guess I'll just play Swamp here. Let's... I could actually say even and destroy this. What happens when this dies? Nothing. It requires 3 mana to sacrifice. I could just say even and blow this up. It takes away the same amount of mana. Yeah, that sounds good to me. Because, like, the Llanowar Elves are more likely to get caught up with Shadow's Verdict next turn than this is, I guess. Alright, so even. And we'll call it a turn. Opponent has a Nykthos. The Nykthos is a little scary right now. I don't think we're in, like, double Storm the Festival levels of scary. That dodges this, which is quite bad for me on current board. And may mean that I have to play my own threat. Yeah, what is this? All creatures and planeswalkers. Value. Okay. Yeah, so it's probably more important for me to play this turn. To potentially clock this next turn. I think I play the Mine. Don't think this card is super appealing to me right now. But it's possible for, like, not killing these elves. I put myself in a very bad position next turn. I just don't really know that I beat the Karn if I don't attempt to do something that kills it next turn. Alright, take your card. I think if my opponent has a Storm, I am in a lot of trouble. What? 3 charge counters. Remove a charge counter from it. Destroy target creature. Controller gets a 2/4 white Ox creature token. The fuck? Alright. That's kind of wild. Is that card legitimately good? Like... Alright, the good news is I get to kill Karn. Oh no, I don't get to kill Karn. This is symmetrical. Draw Extinction Event? Nope. Yeah, I guess I can attack Karn, see if my opponent chumps, and then play this to take out the elves, but I have further issues. And I can't, like, Field of Ruin this turn while also playing the Shadow's Verdict. Oh, cool, the Karn's dead. Alright, I'm gonna play the Glade and go ahead and do something that messes with my opponent's mana. I think killing all of these elves is better than taking out the Nykthos. This removes 3 devotion, which feels pretty important to me. And then I can hope to get rid of one of these lands in the next turn with Field of Ruin. Like, this one might be the bigger problem. 1, 2, 3, or 5 mana to funnel into it. Okay, maybe it's not so bad. Can this only be activated out of sorcery? Okay, cool. Alright. We've got problems. Alright, opponent has a new Nykthos. And... oh. More other new Nykthos happens. And a Troll happens. Extinction Event would be cool here. Alright. Okay. That's another land, unfortunately. I am going to start with just sorcery speed. Blow up Nykthos. Unquestionably. That's just gotta happen. And then I have Boseiju up for if my opponent activates this. I am officially reaching the point of the game now where I wouldn't mind drawing Shigeki. But I think that's because I've flooded out hard. So this is 4, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 of my lands I've seen. Yeah. Yeah, so I've seen 4 spells this game. Go. So my opponent has used a whole lot of Nykthos already. That's the good news here. The bad news is my opponent did find the fourth one. I guess I take that out. I take 9 this turn, which is gross. And let's take out this land. I just, like, in theory, I don't have to deal with it after this, but, like, maybe I'm supposed to hit Lair of the Hydra instead, since that actively impacts my life total. Hey, that's good. That's an extinction event on odd. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. We're not 100% out of this yet. This helps a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. This is a 4 for 1. Okay, there's a card draw. That's fine. Alright, name odd. Make my land drop. And I'm praying. This does exile, so we don't have to deal with the back end of the trolls. There is still this lurking in graveyard. My opponent does still have their fancy little ox wizard wand. Okay, an elf is fine. A little bit of Lair of the Hydra damage here. Oh shit, my opponent forgot about their Lair of the Hydra. Okay. Well, this is nice. My opponent is going to transmogrify the ever-loving hell out of this card, but this is nice. Oh, opponent also might not have forgotten. Or no, they don't have... They have 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, okay. So let's eat the Storm the Festival now. And I believe everything else can just wait. Alright. Still got problems. Moderate to large size problems. But there's hope. Alright. Getting oxed. So, eat a troll. Gonna move that over there for a minute. Alright. Eat an elf. That's fine. I have a creature over here that I can eat. I think that 1 life is worth doing that. Although if I draw the other recovery, maybe that's not true. And after that, I'll just eat some other card out of my opponent's graveyard. It doesn't look to me like it matters from there. Alright, now I will take my Ox. Okay, there's an untap on that land for more mana. Is it just Lair of the Hydra activation? Is this trample? No, it does not trample. Opponent didn't funnel all of their mana into it. Seems like they should have funneled this mana into it, right? I'll just jump block here. Like, I don't think I'm gonna attack that Kiora down and kill it. I think I'd rather just get more draws. Cool. Hopefully that tapped in case it matters, but I suspect I am effectively dead now. I just get whacked by a massive Lair of the Hydra. Yeah, does not feel good. Okay. Oh, nope. That was a good top deck. Yeah. I'm gonna throw in the towel here. I think at this point, with 3 onboard creatures plus Lair plus double Planeswalker plus Wand, I'm too far behind to come back. Okay, round 3. I have 2 land. No, I have 3 lands. Yeah, this will be a keep. Play the black side of this. Kind of see where we go from there. I don't know what my opponent is doing, so I'm glad I have a Thoughtseize to kind of help me out with that. Excuse me? I don't know what literally any of these cards are. Search your library for up to 3 monocolored cards. Okay. Hidden Strings. Shimmer of Possibility. This thing. So my opponent has some sort of fast mana nonsense going. I'm going to take the cantrippy thing here, I think. And assume that I can deal with this, like, 8 mana card or whatever before it actually happens. I don't really know what's going on over there. Okay. Do I want to ooze? Ooze just attacks. No creatures. Probably not going to be creatures. I don't have a relevant play for next turn. Maybe I just do this as a ramp spell and try to get a turn ahead for Gargaroth. Okay, Sylvan Scrying. Lotus Field. Or is this... yeah, okay, it's hexproof. Alright, so my opponent can untap that a couple of times. That occurs. I want to do this more than I want to read the bones. I think I do. Does this have a sorcery speed restriction? No, it doesn't. So I'll just hold that up. Also allows me to hold up Assassin's Trophy. Okay. Thespian stage. Okay. Oh, that's cute. I can just blow up this land? Yeah, that seems important. Not let my opponent have 2 of those. This does mean that I give them another mana to Hidden Strings if they would want to do that this turn. Seems like the answer is no. I have kind of missed 1 point of damage, but hopefully that doesn't matter. I think I would like to read the bones here and try to find a Thoughtseize effect. So let's do... oh my gosh, it's a Thoughtseize effect. Bottom Swamp. Top Thoughtseize. Miss this. Cast Thoughtseize. What is this? Spells can't be countered. Instant sorcery card has flashback. Okay. My opponent just taps out for that. I can just deal with that. So how much mana? So my opponent has 4 mana. How many does Hidden Strings untap? 2. So 4 mana. Down to 2 mana. 5, 6 mana. Plus another untap here. Do I take this? I probably take that. I could sit here for 10 minutes and like math out all the things that my opponent can do, or I can just click on a card. And I'm going to value clicking on a card. Ooh. That probably means that my opponent goes off next turn. Yeah. Or actually, yeah. That's gross. Oh, my opponent can then untap twice and Emergent Ultimatum. Or, sorry, it's untap once. Is that exactly enough? Yes. I assume I die from here. My opponent gets to cast 2 cards without paying their mana costs. Start your hand. Library for 3 cards. No. I give them an Omniscience and a Pour. Can't give them that Tutor. Okay, so I'm not necessarily dead. But I really don't have the right... yikes. I really don't have the right angles of attack for this deck list, I don't think. At least not in my main deck. All these Extinction Event, Abrupt Decay type cards are just very bad. Okay, what is this? Fae of Wishes. Yikes. Also yikes. Does this exile itself? Okay, this exiles itself. So how bad is the thing that they can get back from their graveyard? Bad. Also bad. Everything feels bad. I'm not giving my opponent the triple tutor, but I think my opponent has 1. Alright. So what does the Wish find? Okay. That returns Pour Over the Pages. And approach the second sun. Okay. So if my opponent casts that, they just automatically win the game. If they cast it the second time. Okay. Yep. Sure. Uh-huh. Yeah. Wild. Okay. Duresses in. Cage for that flashback thing, probably. Go blank. Yes. Necromentia. We'll figure something out. Kalitas doesn't do anything here. This doesn't do anything here. Okay. So. Thirst out. All Abrupt Decays out. This pile of stuff is coming in. Extinction Events and go out. That's 59. That gets 1 cage in. And I missed an Abrupt Decay the first time around. So that gets this. Okay. Do not feel good about this matchup. Partially because I have never seen this deck in action before. Wow. Double Grafdigger's Cage is super awkward. I don't think this does enough. Actually, where does that Ultimatum cast the cards from? I assume they're exiled. I don't think this hand does enough. I'm going to mulligan. I like this one better. I'm going to keep this and get rid of the threat, rationalizing that I will draw something else that matters in that capacity. Is it Emergent Ultimatum? I think that's the name of that card. Alright, I'm just gonna get another black source into play towards Necromentia. Okay. No Lotus Field yet, although there's a tutor for it. I guess I can just Necromentia it and give my opponent a zombie. Seems like I should be able to pretty easily beat a zombie. Alright, let's do that. Other than a basic land, right? Okay. Making sure it wasn't other than a land. Alright. Name Lotus Field. Take them out. Alright. There's a lot of cards here. I don't know what most of them do. So normally I would take a picture of a deck list, but I don't think it does me a lot of good when I just have so many cards that I don't know what they do. How big is this? Okay. A 1/3 creature. That's fine. Alright. Good stuff. Yep. Alright. So we have some minor creatures to beat, which hopefully, like, my Planeswalkers or a Gargaroth or something will end up beating. I don't know that I really need to go blank here. Let's just look for a card that goes bigger than the stuff what my opponent is doing. Casting Duress is not crazy, but I have a specific plan in mind. Let's work towards that plan. Don't have green yet. Let's work towards green. I'll also just play out a Grafdigger's Cage. Not that it really does a ton, but we'll play it out. It'd be pretty embarrassing if I lost from here, though. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. What are we looking at? Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, sure. Home is fine. Taking 2 is fine. Everything is a-okay thus far. I don't really want more lands. Do I both Seiju that? I want to play this as a straight up 1/3 blocker. Let's play this land. I don't know that I both Seiju that card yet. Maybe I do. Maybe it's like just enough of a pain in the butt over time that I don't want to mess around with it, and I'll just make my opponent discard next turn instead. That's fine. This thing may be a very slow card advantage engine here. Sure. Alright. Temple is no big deal. Most of my opponent's deck is not really a big deal. I guess, like, they can still, like, manually cast an Omniscience or whatever. And then do some cool stuff. Like, I guess that's what they work towards. Draw is not great. Bounce this thing and play Go Blank. Or maybe bounce this thing and then just replay it. I don't know. The Go Blank might be important. Let's go ahead and do that, and I can leave open this ability for my opponent's turn rather than work on replaying it immediately. Oddly, I've boarded out my board wipes, so like I'm probably not removing these creatures. I'm probably trying to win through them. Okay. Seems good. Okay, that's cute. I like that a lot. That's what they call in the business a combo. Alright, so let's bounce this. I get a Field of Ruin. I need a threat. I need an actual factual threat that can just power through these idiots. I think that means casting Read the Bones before making any other decisions here. I think I can drop Field of Ruin. To just leave myself. No. Absolutely not. Okay. There is a real threat. I am on board with this. And then I can potentially support that with the like regrowth the regrowth side of Shigeki. Okay. Draw your cards. Like I'm good with that. I'm gonna attack for 6, then 9, then 12. Hopefully do a little better than that too. Tried and kept on top. Yeah, you can draw your card. You gain some life. Okay. I have weathered the turn cycle. And drawn yet another land, unfortunately. Let's crash in. Back. I would... Beast? Better than a card? Maybe a card's better than a beast. Nope. Nope. Card was not better than a beast. Alright, what am I looking at here? So I want to duress. So it's a 4-mana regrowth or a 6-mana double regrowth. At 8, it could be 6-mana double regrowth into duress. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6-mana double regrowth into duress with, or into go blank and hold duress. Alright. Let's get back a duress and a read the bones. Possible there's a Necromantia target that just wins the game. I am not 100% sure what that would be. Alright. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. What is this? Okay, it's a copy spell. A tutor. I'm just going to take the Omniscience. If that's wrong. It can't be that wrong. And we'll call it a turn there. I'd considered Necromantia on Omniscience. Just turning Thespian Stage into a dual land. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, it's actually really smart, now that I look at it. Because there's worlds where they can get the black mana to cast the Mastermind's Acquisition. Alright, so there goes Pour. Alright, there's the untaps. Oh, I can absolutely Mastermind's Acquisition. Okay. Going on Thespian Stage. Okay, another Pour. Oddly, because they have this card, I kind of want a go blank. Not really ready for it currently. Temple, sure. Okay. A Grazer. Didn't expect my opponent to have those. I guess I looked at their deck. That was not something that stood out to me. Okay, they've topped whatever it is, so they like it. Oh, actually, sorry. I have a Grafdigger's Cage in play. This is significantly less scary than I thought. Alright, well, let's dismiss this stuff. I will Thoughtseize momentarily. Let's read some bones. No to Swamp. Is this an above average draw? That's probably an above average draw. I'll top that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, let's crash in. My opponent might do some chump blocking here. I will just make the beast now. This is about ending this game. Alright, opponent goes to 12. I'll play a land. I'll rip a card out of their hand. This kind of makes it so I have to take that, right? This card's scary, though. I don't know, maybe I leave them with the recovery since it's slow. Take the acquisition. It's just a raw tutor. I don't know enough about the lines of this deck to make 100% correct decisions here. And I acknowledge that fully. I leave them with the Bala Ged Recovery thing. Like, I don't think I mind how slow that is. Oh, shit. That gets omniscience. That's not limited. 3, 6. Oh, fuck. I might have fucked up. No, it's fine. Okay, that's fine. Sure. Okay, that's all fine. But my opponent has an omniscience in hand that I need to deal with now. I get a couple card draws. Help out with that. And, Raw. Okay, great. There's a Thoughtseize. Okay. Opponent sending some stuff in the way. That's a 3/4. That's big. Shouldn't have attacked with the beast. That's fine. Let's Thoughtseize my opponent. Oh, Dig Through Time is horrifying. Got the graveyard covered. I think I leave them with Omniscience and then take the Dig Through Time and then just hope that they don't draw something absolutely horrifying. Yeah, dig through time scares me more than anything else in that hand. Play tapped land. Let's play a Sorin. I'll make a Vampire Nighthawk just in case. I think I'll also Field of Ruin and take out their Thespian Stage. And then I can even activate again. And just, like, take out a Temple or a Breeding Pool or something. Just filter my lands into other lands that in my deck. Okay, cool. Opponent has 1 basic. Okay, that's good enough to get a concession for the game. I can maybe keep in a little bit of removal to get rid of my opponent's creatures that just sit in play. That doesn't feel super strong. Like, it's my discard effects, my Necromentia effects, my stuff of that nature that is potentially going to win me the game. I don't think there's any world where I want this just as another threat. That game went on forever. Do I want to keep this hand that has 3, maybe 4 relevant pieces of interaction, but only 1 land? I think I do. I'm not 100% sure this decision is correct, but I'm really land heavy. I'm like 27 lands or something like that. I think this hand just has enough interaction that I'm good with the risks associated with keeping this hand. All right. What's going on over there? This is a look at 4. I think I'd rather my opponent do that than draw multiple cards. I'm going to go ahead and take their Maze Mind Tome here. I also think I'm going to be more aggressive about F6ing through my opponent's turn here. Alright, I have another land. So let's Thoughtseize my opponent. Have a Lotus Field. I can get this later. I'm just going to take the card with a lower CMC. Alright. Then I'll go land drop, cage, and pass. And I assume my opponent is going to just play their Lotus Field out here. Yep, that's fine. Not the best combination of cards here, but I get to just keep punching my opponent's hand, which is good. And then I'll play an Ooze. Like, they've kind of got nothing right now. Okay, there's a land drop. A Thespian Stage is potentially very good to copy Lotus Field with. I'm going to play another Ooze. There's no creatures in graveyard. I'll just attack for 1 here. Opponent's at 18. I think they're in a pretty good position. Like, I have pressure, but my disruption is limited. Oh, there's more disruption. Very nice. Just oops all Oozes today. Opponent goes to 14. I also will go to 14, so we can be twinsies. I'll leave my opponent with an Otawara and play Ooze 3. And I don't have any 1 Ooze that's, like, stacked up or anything, so the whole Otawara bounce lines aren't crazy. Selection's good for my opponent. But I think they need some critical density here. Okay, sure. Like, the card advantage feels very good there. We'll see what they can do with it. Oh. More pouring. I mean, I guess I just F6. Like, I have 0 responses to everything that's happening here. Yeah, okay, there's an untap. I can die here. Alright. Otawara, you're gone. 9 mana. Spooky. 8 mana. It's 5 mana. 8 mana. Sure, Hidden Strings is fine. Are we working on color fixing here? I assume that kills me somehow. I don't know what the line is, but I assume that I'm dead. Like, Omniscience, something to untap the 2 copies of Lotus Field, and then something scary to cast with Omniscience. Nope, different line. Or no, the Pour the Pages can count as the untapper. 4 mana. Untap. While cycling at that. 5 mana. Okay, sure. I don't feel as immediately dead as I expected I would be. Okay, yes. Again, very much expected to be dead by now. Okay, it's an ultimatum. Okay, Omniscience, Hidden Strings, and Recovery. Recovery gets just about anything here. One has 6 mana right now? I guess it's 8 mana. They've put Omniscience in this pile. It must win the game, right? Recovery is very good as well. Alright, I'll take the Omniscience and you can do your thing. Okay, it's a Recovery. Oh shit, Recovery targets the triple tutor. Yeah, and then Hidden Strings does the untapping. I think I'm probably dead. Again, don't know how I die, but I'm pretty sure I'm dead. Okay, yeah, there's the triple tutor. This mana's somewhat limited, but, like, the tutor fixes that, right? Okay. Alright, well, I have Cage. Don't have Cage. Turn off auto yields. Yes. I have to shock myself. Don't have a forest in there. I would like to pay 2 life. I get 1 scavenging ooze eat here. What is the most important thing to eat? The tutor? This thing? This is 1 tutor, this is 3 tutors. Take out the triple tutor. But I think my opponent just wins from here. I also think this is going to be uninteresting to watch. Alright, so there's the Galvanic Iteration to copy the next spell. I assume is one of the untappers. Yep. Okay, you know what? I'm bored enough, and I think I'm dead enough that I'm just going to concede here. Let's call that GG. Alright. Round 4 here. I'm going to keep my opening hand. I have a turn 1 Thoughtseize off of Blooming Marsh, and then, like, Scavenging Ooze and Bloodchief's Thirst to help me get to Elder Gargaroth. Alright, let's do it. Blooming Marsh, Thoughtseize. I don't know what most of these cards are. Make a big Kraken. Shuffle your library, reveal the top card. If it's not in land, you can cast it without paying its mana cost. Okay, sure. Am I just taking the ramp spell here and just, like, keep my opponent from casting all of this crap? I'm not very good at actually killing my opponent, though, so, like, they're going to get to higher CMCs. I still think I'm going to go that route and take the first ramp card. But, like, my opponent's hand is terrible, and I just don't think my deck list is fast enough to actually capitalize on that fact, unfortunately. Like, could be wrong, but not super optimistic that I will close out this game before my opponent does something broken. This can enter tapped this turn, I think. Got no creatures in graveyard or anything that I care about. I can choose to just Boseiju one of my opponent's lands if they don't have basics, but they've got to cultivate, so I think they have basics. So we'll call it a turn there. Okay, yeah, opponent is stuck on mana. But, like, they're going to be stuck on mana and in a totally recoverable position once they get out of it. Yeah, no real relevant plays here. Crash in for 2. Yeah. Now, if my opponent misses their land drop this turn, I think I win by just playing this. Yeah. Okay. So opponent looks to be a ramp deck that can sometimes cheat something very stupid into play. The Grafdigger's Cage will stop that unexpected results card. I want discard. I don't think Abrupt Decay is great. I don't think this game goes long enough most of the time that I need this card. I am unsure about the Extinction Event type cards. I don't know what all my opponent can spin into. Given the information that I have, I think I'm going to cut those. I don't know. I probably leave those for Planeswalkers and trim a couple of Abrupt Decays. I don't know. I still just largely feel like my deck is so slow compared to other things in the format. This isn't great early. None of this is disruption. I think I'm gonna mulligan and try to keep a hand that has some discard or something. Yeah, let's throw back the Abrupt Decay here. And then keep this hand. My opponent's on 7 this time, so, like, we actually have to play Magic this time. Instead of just getting a concession because my opponent literally couldn't do anything after a mulligan. I assume this is the Cultivate, but I have to read this card first. Remember the 3 artifacts or creatures to their owner's hands. You can cast a spell. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll take the Cultivate and try to just stick my opponent with all the things that they can. The top 5 of library, put permanents onto the battlefield. Okay. Cool. So, I'm playing a 2/2. Like, that's my plan. And then I'm going to play another 2/2. And these are 2/2s with effectively no text in this matchup. Doesn't really feel good. And, like, my opponent has basic lands, so this doesn't knock it out of the park. It would also be mana fixing for them as well. Let's ooze it up. I don't really like playing out multiple oozes here, because that just makes me worse against the Brawl's expertise that I know about, but at least my opponent doesn't have blue mana yet. Alright. So, let's see what their unexpected results does. Okay. Cool. It's a ramp card, which is scary, because, like, I've got nothing going on. Alright. I'm gonna crash in for 4, and then I think I plus Sorin. I don't really want to expose 3 creatures to this card. And I'd rather dig for some disruption. Alright. Sorin plus. It is another Scavenging Ooze. I will absolutely take the damage to get that off of the top of my library. Alright. Opponent's not to blue yet. Search your library up for 3 basic lands, put them onto the battlefield tap. You gain 7 life. Oh god. Okay. So, I'm scared. I will absolutely plus Sorin, trying to find something relevant here. Yes, I'll pay life to do that. I'm potentially losing a lot of life this turn. Oh, Grafdigger's Cage. I put the permanents onto the battlefield. This stops that from happening. It'll stop creatures if my opponent has those. Doesn't stop everything here. I just don't know what all my opponent has. I'm going to assume that this is playable. Alright. Duress is nice here. Take one of those. I take the Brawl's expertise. Like, getting my oozes bounced is kind of huge here. It makes me far worse against anything that my opponent does successfully floop into play. Yes. I have dealt myself 11 points of damage, and we'll attack for 4 and call it a turn. I don't know if this cage is doing as much as I thought it did when I boarded it in. Good god. Okay, no, those are both the same Planeswalker. That's not quite as bad as I thought it was. I've got an Assassin's Trophy for one of those as well. Yeah, it's not too bad. Again, though, like, these being 2/2s and requiring such a high mana investment is a little rough here. What is Burning Earth? It doesn't sound like I like it. Whenever a player taps a non-basic land for mana, Burning Earth deals 1 damage to that player. Fuck. Yeah, opponent might not actually have creatures for this Grafdigger's Cage to actually be good. That's good. Sure can't kill this Planeswalker. And also deal with Burning Earth in this turn cycle. I also probably need to make a Vampire Nighthawk this turn. Not a fan. I'll just take 1 damage off of that. But it's annoying. Alright. Make my land drop. Hack the Walker for 4. Dropping it to 2. I'll go blank my opponent here. Okay, I think we missed the ultimatum there, unfortunately. I'll pass the turn. Alright, lots of land tapping here. I don't know, maybe I'm at the point of the game where I could have just eaten the Brawl's expertise to take one of these. Shark Typhoon happens. And a bunch of cards went to hand. So I shouldn't necessarily take like that as a good thing that my opponent missed. It may just be that they want to cast their stuff for more Shark Typhoon tokens. Okay, yeah, there's creatures in there. That's super punishing for me. Now my Sorin dies. I have a couple of 2/2 Scavenging Oozes versus my opponent's much, much superior board. Alright. Goodbye, Sorin. And I'm just, like, basically dead on board for next turn. Alright. Life's bad. Okay, there's another just plus on a creature. And I don't have board wipes anymore to just really kind of destroy all of this. And my opponent's got some sharks. Oh no, there's more. Oh, there's even more. Is this another unexpected results? A migration path. Search the library for the 2 basic lands, put them on the battlefield tapped. Okay. Yeah, my opponent has a billion power in play. I don't think there's any world where I come back from this. I'm going to go ahead and concede here. And I think it's probably time to throw in the... Oh, no. We got another game. I feel like my cards are just not good enough here. Like, I am thinking about boarding in a 3/4 lifelinker just because it attacks. Like, I'm putting so little pressure on my opponent. These abrupt decays really aren't good. Let's get 2 of those in. And, like, this Grafdigger's Cage matters because, like, they have things like a Tarka in there, but it looks like a lot of their spells are non-creatures, so maybe I don't go for that? No, this still does other stuff. Like, it didn't stop the scenarios that I was in there, but it stops other things still. Yeah, it stops unexpected results. Like, that definitely matters. Because that's one of the good ways to just oops accidentally get me. I don't know, maybe I bore out some Scavenging Oozes. Like, that card was really bad. Like, it's earlier pressure, but maybe my early turns need to be this stuff, and Kalatos just hits harder if I don't expect my opponent to have very many creatures. Okay. I have double discard spell. I'm going to keep this despite, like, this land being very bad here. Like, I am going to trust in my deck's ability to draw a basic land. Okay. I will just take... you know what? Maybe I take the threats. Maybe I give up on fighting the mana and take the threats. Like, a Nissa beats me pretty easily. Like, especially if I don't draw green mana. Okay. Read the Bones is an okay draw. Let's dismiss this. Play Thoughtseize. Fight over this. Don't let them gain the 7 life. Clock them with a creature and kill them easier. I can also take this since it does represent a creature. But I think the Nissa's Renewal is the greatest amount of card advantage. I just, like, don't feel good about my ability to win games of Magic, just full stop. This deck is so slow, and I feel like what it's doing is not unfair relative to the rest of the stuff in the format. Alright, that's a good draw. This isn't indestructible or anything, right? Yeah, it's not indestructible or anything. I can take my opponent off of mana and mana fix for myself. I don't know that that's better than just raiding the Bones, though. Raiding the Bones gives me more looks at disruption. I think I'm going to go that route. Those are not disruption. That is going on bottom. This is a clock that I could play next turn. I think I just bottom that and try to look for something disruptive, or another copy of Kalatos instead. That works too. Alright. Let's see how bad this turn ends up being for me. Alright. Lots of mana for my opponent. Get rid of that. Get rid of that. So, we're now in the stage where I have to get lucky. I think we're in the stage where I have to get lucky. I'm going to play a threat. I'm going to do that rather than trying to read the Bones into a duress effect, and I'm going to hope that I can play Kalatos into Elder Gargaroth and somehow win the game. But I'm not feeling good here. Okay. Go blank's not actually that good because, like, I know my opponent still has lands that they can discard. So I think I largely just ignore that card and just play threats and hope to get there. Not Feeling good about it. Alright. There's a creature. Hope it works. I'll give my opponent a chance to play another land out of hand and then try to go blank the remaining cards. Alright. Here we go. Okay, that's an 8/8 Kraken. Oh my god, with hexproof. Cool, cool. That's fine. That next thing is basically a time walk. Cool. Probably can't let that happen. So that eats 2 of my mana. Then I'll have 3 mana left. Hexproof. Alright. 1, 2, 3. Let's go blank my opponent. And then let's take this out of play. Yeah, that go blank was not good. Alright, and we're chilling. My threat, my like the premium threat of this deck was outclassed by the first stage of my opponent's saga. Alright. Running it back. Running it back. What is that? Doesn't seem great to me. This does. I'm going to concede. I don't think I can beat Double Kraken at this point, plus my opponent still has a billion cards in hand. Alright, rather than play a 5th round here, I spent some time doing some research because I think I'm not good enough at Brewing Pioneer, and I don't know the card pool well enough to give awesome feedback. I know what's wrong, I don't know how to fix it, so I took some time doing some research, and I pulled up a couple other fringe playable deck lists, and we're going to kind of take a look at what they're doing differently from this. So ultimately, I think this deck is just too slow for the format, and it's not doing anything broken. And I think both of those things are separate problems. And I think you can fix one of those. I think you can fix this deck being too slow. I don't know that you can fix this deck doing something broken. Like, it's a control deck, it's trying to slow down the game, but right now I just feel like, in my very, very limited experience, so take this with a grain of salt, but like I feel like in Pioneer, I'm trying to do something broken that gets my opponent dead, that either goes really fast or is hard to interact with. And that's what I want to be doing in Pioneer. And I feel like this deck does not accomplish that. I think, like, the card advantage that Read the Bones and Shigeki offer just felt really slow to me. I think in the 4 rounds that I played, I activated Shigeki's channel ability once, and I never, I think, activated its top ability. That just probably means that like card should not be in the deck list, and that should be other forms of interaction. And I felt so limited by my ability to actually kill my opponent. Like, I need one of these cards, and preferably it's Elder Gargaroth. Like, that card was good. It was not cleanly answered in most cases. Like, it does give spiraling card advantage, but I was just hoping for this card. Like, I was hoping to interact with my opponent long enough to get to this card, and I was hoping to draw this card. And I think there was just too much hoping. So if I were to continue playing this list, I would look long and hard at trying to find something else that clocks, like maybe while also disrupting. I will say we did play against matchups where Scavenging Ooze was particularly weak, so like maybe take that with a grain of salt here. Given how slow this deck is anyway, I think I would rather have good mana in the early game rather than this as a late game card. Like, there was definitely a hand where I think I opened up on, like, field, and a single-colored land, and, like, that hand isn't really going to get you where you need to go unless you are dedicating mana to field, in which case, like, you're not interacting with your opponent. And overall, that doesn't feel great to me. I will say, the sideboard felt pretty good. Like, I felt like I had good options to bring in. I just, like, ultimately didn't feel like this was on pace with the format. So I pulled up a couple of random Pioneer deck lists. Just kind of giving you some options. Murderous Rider can be a removal spell that also can be a threat. Does it clock hard? No. Does it clock? Yes. And like Rotting Regisaur or Questing Beast or something like that, that just kind of like whacks hard, is totally reasonable, as is just playing another creature like Gifted Aetherborn in the early game. One of the issues with that, though, is like if you want to be this Extinction Event deck, you want to play as few creatures as possible, which is why we're so light on creatures, playing 10 of them in the deck total. So, like, that's something to think about. The other thing, and this one might be better, is that you can go into another color to get access to something like Growth Spiral, or straight up play some ramp spells of some nature and use that to go into bigger things. That might kind of fix some of the problems that this deck has. But ultimately, like, we're 100% in brew territory here. I did an MTG Goldfish search and got like 0 decks with Shigeki in them. And the reason is probably like that the card does not meet the bar for the format. We play a lot of brews on this channel, and a lot of them don't quite work. They're not quite powerful enough, and I think this one falls into that territory. It's just got a handful of problems, and while they can maybe be corrected, I think I would be looking to like switch colors or drastically rehaul this deck. I don't think it's ready the way that it is. Anyway, I hope that was useful to you, my wonderful donor, and to everyone else. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please click the like button on the way out. It helps a lot, and I hope you all have a great rest of the day. See ya!